very happy to be able to bring this program to you. So no further ado, let's get going. I want to talk about the soil food web for a few minutes this morning. What is it? What's comprised? Exactly what does it do? Those kinds of questions. And I always like to start out with this particular slide because it reminds me of a lot of the information that I need to put out. This was a picture that was taken by the Lexicon for Sustainability group out in Pennsylvania. And I love the fact that they put the soil food web diagram overlaid of me out in that field, holding up my hands, kind of saying like, yeah, see, I can get dirty. The field always reminds me of what I need to talk about a little bit. When you're looking at this sort of field, one of the things you want to ask yourself is this soil or is this dirt? And some people are surprised that those are really truly two different things. When we're talking about soil, it has to have all of the food web organisms in it, and it needs to have some organic matter as well. When I look at the color of this field, this recently tilled field, I get a little concerned because this is not the rich, dark brown, 70% cocoa chocolate color that I want to see in a good soil. This light tan color says to me, we got some problems here. We don't have the complete food web. What's lacking? What's missing? What do we need to get back into the system, and how are you going to put that back into the system? Another thing that I look at when I'm looking at this particular field is all of these big clods. This dirt has been compacted, and then they came along and tilled it probably to get rid of that compaction, because your roots won't go down very far until when they hit that compaction layer at 4 to 6 inches. The roots aren't going to go any further. The roots of terrestrial plants are obligate aerobes. And when you're in a compacted condition, there's very little oxygen in there because the few microorganisms that were present in that material to begin with utilized all of the oxygen, so it's gone anaerobic, and your roots can't grow into it, or your roots will be harmed. They may well die because of that experience, and certainly they will grow out sideways then instead of down. If your roots are going out sideways, it's going to be trying to steal nutrients from the plant next to it. So you're going to have some problems. Those plants are going to be stressed. They're not getting the full nutrition that they require. So it tells me quite a bit just looking at a field to discover those kinds of problems. So how do we fix those things? How do we rebuild structure? How do we get that organic matter back to what it needs to be? So this soil in this field is probably well or significantly lower than the minimum of 3% that you really need to have in soil in order to grow plants without requiring pesticides or inorganic fertilizers and such. I like to give a little bit of introduction about who I am. I am Dr. Elaine Ingham. I have all that lineup of alphabet soup after my name, ta-da. I started out as a soil microbiologist, and I've really turned into a soil ecologist, if you will. But of course, my focus is on the organisms that live in the soil. I'll let you read through the list here. You don't need me to do that for you. So looking at what the soil food web is, what the soil food web does, is really where I want to go today. So what is the food web? The processes in soil, and that's important to recognize that we're talking about soils and such.